Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make in life. And buying a home in San Diego is even more expensive, with San Diego being one of the most expensive places to live in the nation for overall cost. It's more important than ever that you get a better understanding of what you're looking into, what you're going to need to know, and how you're going to make better decisions so that you make the best decision for you. When you look at San Diego also, from navigating our very competitive real estate markets to the complexities of the neighborhoods, the cost of the neighborhoods, and the overall cost of just living in San Diego, it's very important that you have a good plan. This video is designed to explain to you more things about what to look out for, what costs you may have, what to plan for as far as payments. This way you can make a better decision because, like most people in life, you want to have a good plan that looks out for your best interest. Like we mentioned in the intro, living in San Diego is very expensive. On any given day, you can check prices and we'll either be number one for highest home prices or number fourth in the nation for highest home prices. And these home prices are all based off buying a single family home. In San Diego, the average single family home is $950,000. When you look at that and compare it to the median average home in the US is $412,000. San Diego's also been one of the fastest growing and stable markets in real estate in America, where the last 6 to 8 years, we've averaged over 6 to 8% appreciation. And in some cases, when you look at during the pandemic and the lowest rates in history, home prices here increased over 40%. But when you look at San Diego as a whole being stable, our average appreciation here, year over year, averages between 5 and 7%. Because of this, we're always going to have an imbalance of supply and demand here in San Diego. Now, San Diego's cost of living is 44% higher than the national average here. And this not only includes, it's the housing cost, it's your utilities cost, it's your groceries cost, it's your transportation cost. But if you can afford the barrier to entry to get into San Diego and actually own real estate, in the short term, yes, you can make a lot of money in 5 to 7 years. But if you buy your home here and you're able to hold onto it for long term, over 10 years, you are in to make a very sizable profit. Now, unless you're buying a home for all cash, you're going to need to get a mortgage in San Diego. Getting a mortgage goes into a couple different things that all mortgages have. You have principal and interest payments. You're going to have property taxes in San Diego, and you're going to have insurance, and we're going to look at all of them. There's many types of mortgages out there depending on your financial situation and needs. We did another video about that already that you can check out to get a better overview of it. On top of your mortgage, there's going to be a few other costs that you and the seller are going to want to negotiate before you get into escrow, and now we'll go into those. Closing costs on buying a home typically range between 2 to 2.5% of the purchase price. So for an example, on a $950,000 home, that can vary anywhere between $19,000 to $24,000. Now, you also have to take into consideration with the new changes in real estate, you may have other compensation that need to be done with your realtor, and that will be negotiated by you as well. The loan costs with your lender are relatively simple. There's typically 2 fees, processing, underwriting. They're usually around $2,000. Then you'll need to talk to your lender to see about if you want to buy points or not buy points according to your personal situation. Next, we have title insurance. When you're buying a home in California, you have to have title insurance. Title insurance is split between the buyer and the seller. These fees can range quite vary. They can range from $1,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. They're all based off the purchase price of the home, but buying title insurance is bought because it's used to ensure if there's a dispute between the buyer and the seller that it can all be resolved so that neither party are harmed. Next, we have escrow fees. Because in the state of California, everyone has to use an escrow. Now, to elaborate what escrow is, let's think of escrow as essentially a dealer in a poker game. So escrow fees will vary anywhere between $2,500 up to $5,000. These are also based off the value of the home. They're also decided what escrow companies use by how your agent and the seller all negotiate to who gets to pick your escrow company. Next, we have 2 interesting caveats. We have appraisals and inspections. Not every loan requires an appraisal, and not every home buying requires an inspection. But these are good things that you need to know. An appraisal cost is typically going to vary between $500 to $1,200. The appraisal cost will vary also based off the value of the home and the complexity of the appraisal and what's needed by the lender. Next, for the home inspection. The home inspection is something that's not needed, but is very highly looked upon as beneficial to you as a consumer because you want to do your due diligence seeing what's wrong with the home, what could be potential problems later, and how you could potentially negotiate to have them solved before you close escrow. I highly recommend getting a home inspection on every single home you buy and an appraisal because you want to know the details. And lastly, there's private mortgage insurance. For those of you out there that put less than 20% down, we will have private mortgage insurance. Private mortgage insurance will vary. It'll vary based off your FICO score and the loan amount. And the percentages of the cost can vary from 0.25% to 0.55% and sometimes higher depending on if your credit's not so good. Once you've closed on your home, there's a couple other costs we really want to look at. So currently interest rates in San Diego are around 6%. And if we use our average purchase a home, single family, $950,000, and we got a loan amount of $807,500, so we put down, say 15%, and we got a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, if we look at the true cost of owning that home over the next 30 years and you kept it, you will be paying over $935,000 in interest. That's why it's so important that, if possible, that you can make smaller additional payments towards the principal each month to pay down your home sooner and save you more money over the long term. Some other costs besides the interest on your mortgage loan, this is what you want to consider. In San Diego, our property taxes will vary between 1.05 to 1.25. This adds a considerable amount to your monthly payment. The other thing that's really important now more than ever in California is insurance costs. Insurance costs have skyrocketed. So policies now typically are going to cost you around 0.4 to 0.6% of your loan amount. That is very substantial. And finally, some different properties will have HOA costs, even in single-family neighborhoods. HOA also adds to your payment, and that could vary anywhere from $300 to, if you're downtown San Diego, $1,100 per month. Another concept to think about with your home loan is what's called the amortization period. Most loans are based off a 30-year amortization period. So what that means is it's your principal and interest payments over 30 years that slowly pay down the loan. Now, one of the key things to take into consideration that's most important here is during the first 10 years of the life of the loan, a majority of all your payments go strictly to interest. So if you're looking to save yourself more money over the longer term or pay off your loan sooner, what I would highly suggest is each month, if you're able to pay a little bit more towards the principal, you will vastly shorten your amortization period. You will save yourself tons of money in interest over the long term, and overall, you'll feel you're investing in yourself because you're investing into your own home. Now, another way to save money on cost is by refinancing. So if you look at refinancing, the average homeowner in America refinances every 7 years. Every single time you refinance, so you restart the amortization period again, which means you're paying more money in interest. So why do people refinance? They refinance mainly when interest rates drop to save themselves money, because the lower the interest rate, the less money you pay on interest, and the easier it is to add additional principal payments as well. Another reason why people refinance is they can do it to consolidate debt. If you have other debts that are at higher rates, you can consolidate them with a cash out refinance into a lower rate, save yourself more money. Now, there is cost also with refinancing. Typically, refinance costs are around 2% and in some cases 3%. So you may want to look at my other video that breaks down, does it make sense to refinance or does it not, because there's costs involved. To summarize this whole video, buying in San Diego does have a large barrier to entry, but is it worth it to buy here and hold on for the long term? Absolutely. We have one of the most competitive markets in the US, but that's also because we have some of the best weather in the US, the best standard of living in the US, and overall the quality of life here is amazing. So there's always going to be more people moving here, people buying, people selling, people exchanging, people investing. So if you're able to get into the market and you know all the costs, and you're comfortable with all the costs and it fits your long-term and short-term needs, jump into the market, buy something here. But what's key to consider as well is you need to work with a trusted professional. If you need help with locating a very good realtor, or if you want to ask me as a lender just questions to see if it fits your overall situation, please reach out. We're here to help over the long term. We want to make sure you make the best decision that you can by buying real estate here, and we value your time. Thank you.